Hello, friends, and welcome. Are you ready for a story? Today, we're going to hear all about a girl named Matilda and a necklace that was so sparkly. But first, tell me something. Do you love things that are shiny and glittery? You know, like sparkly crayons or the twinkly little stars you see way up high in the night sky? I do. I think they're just the best. Okay, let's get into our story. Meet Matilda. Now, she was a very sweet girl, but she always dreamed of a very fancy life. Oh, yes, she would think about fancy parties and wearing beautiful dresses and, of course, sparkly jewels. You see, she lived in a small and simple apartment, and sometimes that made her feel a little bit sad. She didn't have a lot of money, but in her daydreams, she lived in a giant, beautiful castle. Well, one evening, her husband came home, and he was so excited. He had a big smile on his face and was hiding something behind his back. It was a surprise just for her. So, what was it? It was an invitation to a huge, super fancy party. How exciting! But hang on a second, Matilda wasn't smiling. Actually, she didn't look happy at all. Instead of being happy, big tears started to roll down her cheeks. "Oh no," she sniffled. "I can't go to the party. I don't have anything pretty enough to wear." Oh, her kind husband felt so sad to see her cry. He wanted to make her happy more than anything in the world, so he gave her all the money he had been saving up just so she could buy the most perfect dress she could find. So, Matilda found a wonderful dress, and she looked so lovely in it. But something was still not quite right. Even with her beautiful new dress on, she still had a little frown on her face. Something was missing. Can you guess what it could be? She looked at her husband and said, with a big sigh, "My dress is so nice, but I don't have a single sparkly jewel to wear with it." But then her husband's face lit right up. He had an idea. "Hey, why don't you go ask your good friend Jean? I bet she'd let you borrow something sparkly," he said. Of course, that was a fantastic idea. So, Matilda ran over to her friend's house, and Jean was so happy to help. She opened up a big, beautiful box, and inside was the most sparkly diamond necklace Matilda had ever seen. It glittered like 1,000 tiny little stars. Jean said, "Of course you can borrow it for the party." Matilda was so happy she gave her friend a huge hug. And when she put the necklace on, she finally felt just like a real princess. The night of the party was so much fun. Matilda danced all night long, and everyone told her that she was the prettiest lady in the whole room. But when they got home, she went to look in the mirror one last time at the beautiful necklace, and she screamed. Her hands flew up to her neck. The sparkly necklace, it wasn't there. Oh no, it was lost. She and her husband looked everywhere. They looked in her dress, they looked in her pockets, they looked all over the floor, but they couldn't find it anywhere. It was gone. Oh my goodness, what a disaster. What should they do now? Let me ask you, if you lost something that belonged to your friend, what would you do? Well, Matilda was very scared. She was too scared to tell her friend the truth. So instead of being honest, she and her husband made a different choice. A very difficult one. They went to all the jewelry shops until they found a new necklace that looked exactly like the one she lost. But, oh boy, when they saw how much it cost, they couldn't believe it. It cost lots of money. To pay back all that money, they had to work very hard for 10 long years. Can you imagine? That's such a long time. For 10 years, they worked every single day just to pay for that necklace. And then, after 10 long years, the last bit of money was finally paid back. Phew. One sunny day, Matilda was walking in the park, and she saw someone she knew. It was her old friend, Jeanne. Matilda took a really deep breath. She knew it was finally time to tell the truth. So she walked over to Jeanne and told her the whole story about losing the necklace and how they worked for 10 whole years to buy her a new one. Jeanne's eyes got really wide. She was so surprised. She just looked at Matilda, and then she gently took both of her friend's hands. And then Jeanne said the most surprising thing ever. She said, Oh, my poor Matilda, the necklace you borrowed from me, it wasn't made of real diamonds. It was pretend. It was just a costume necklace. Can you believe that? All of that hard work for 10 whole years for a necklace that was just pretend? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What do you think would have happened if Matilda had just told the truth from the very beginning? And that's our story about the sparkly necklace. And it teaches us something super, super important. Even when it feels scary, telling the truth is always the best thing to do. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.